The life of an ordinary man suddenly changed after letting two extraordinary women rent rooms in his house. His name is Rin, who dreamed of finding a job with a good salary and marrying a cute girl. Since he had just finished his studies, he immediately started looking for a job, but it was not easy. After several hours of searching in the city, he decided to rest in a nearby square. After a while, a woman approached him who wanted to ask him a question. She was looking for a place, so she showed him the map that she was carrying. To Ren's surprise, it was actually his house which the woman was looking for. She said that she intended to live in this house, and only then he remembered that he made some rooms in his house as rental space. So he told her that he was the owner of the house, and because of this they decided to go there together. While they were on the bus, the woman introduced herself as Lily. After a few hours of travel, they arrived at Ren's hometown. While they were walking to Ren's house, the wheel of Lily's suitcase suddenly broke and its handle had been broken too. Because of this, Ren offered to help Lily to carry her suitcase, but it turned out to be too heavy. He was surprised that Lily was able to carry it on her shoulder easily. They continued walking until Ren accidentally saw Lily's strange ears, which disappeared immediately, so he thought that he was just hallucinating. When Lily saw the bats, she told Ren that he should go home fast. Ren was confused and was against what she wanted, but Lily forced him to run away from there. It was only a few moments when the bats reappeared to them, so Lily decided to transform into her true form. Ren was shocked and Lily pushed him away when a female vampire attacked, and these two strange girls fought. When the vampire flew away, it suddenly disappeared, and Lily immediately thought that it had gone to Ren. As the vampire approached Ren, Lily quickly ran towards them. That's why the vampire flew away. Lily picked up the stone bricks and threw them at the vampire. When she hit its wing, the vampire immediately disappeared. Lily had also returned to her human form and decided not to go with Ren at his house for his safety. As she was walking away, Ren chased after her because he was worried about her. So Ren told Lily to sleep at his house for her safety too. When they arrived at Ren's house, he showed her the living room, kitchen and the bathroom, then he took her to her bedroom. The next day, Ren suddenly woke up because of Lily's scream, so he went to see her right away. It turned out that she was afraid of Ren's cat, named Raleigh. So Ren showed her that his pet was harmless. Then Lily said that there was a problem with the TV. But when he opened the curtain, they saw many bats flying outside. Lily immediately transformed upon seeing them. When Ren closed the curtain, the bats, who turned out to be the vampire the other night, forced its way in his house. Then she took Ren, and this started the fight between the two girls again. Ren tried to talk to them so the two would stop fighting each other. While the two were arguing, the vampire's stomach suddenly rumbled. Because of this, Ren prepared them something to eat, and this was the moment that the woman introduced herself as Vivian. They were also surprised to know that Vivian also planned to rent a room in the house. Ren thought that it would be better to have two tenants, so he agreed to this, but Lily immediately opposed it. Because of this, the two of them argued again, and Lily did not mean to break the table. In Ren's annoyance, he asked Lily to clean the area, then he accompanied Vivian to her room. Since Vivian left her things outside, she jumped out of the window to take them so she could pay the rent. But when she took her wallet, her money was no longer there, and the contents of her bag were only leaves. She said that she might have lost it when she had the fight with Lily the other night. That's why she was blaming the wolf girl. She cried and asked Ren if there was a nearby cemetery in the area where she could stay for a while. Ren felt sorry for Vivian, so he allowed her to live in his house. He told her that she could pay the rent once she had her money again. Vivian knew that it would take her a long time before she could have the money. Because of this, she suggested that she could do some chores and be the cook. They were amazed that she could cook food, and when they tasted what she prepared, they loved it. Lily suddenly heard Ren's cell phone ringing, so she took it to give it to him. When Ren answered this, he was reprimanded by the one who called him, who was a woman. It turned out to be an interview invitation from a company, but the woman did not introduce herself and just asked him to come to the office. When he arrived at the said place, the woman called him again. He was told to look for the telephone pole, which was just right in front of him. Then he was asked to put his hand on it and turn his head in different directions. When he looked up, he was shocked by what he saw. He was told to remove his hand on the pole, and that was the moment that he was sucked in this place. When he opened his eyes, he was already in front of the big door of a mansion. It opened on its own, and after a few moments an elemental servant came to him. This led him to the front door of a room. After that, the servant left immediately. When he entered the room, he saw the woman who invited him for the interview. According to this woman, he was in the bastard office at node EN35 of space. She introduced herself as Raven and she would be his boss. She asked Rin to come closer, and when she stared on his eyes, he was startled, so Raven pulled out a chair and asked him to sit. Ren asked why he was invited for an interview since he did not apply in this company nor see any commerce company outside. So Raven frankly told the truth and said that he was chosen by the space. The space was an affiliate department of the Sealing Empire which was tasked in managing the world. And it was their job to keep the global harmony. Ren would be assisting her to stop those who have goals to destroy the world or had plans for celestial body evolutions. Aside from those informations, Ren found out that his two tenants, Lily and Vivian, were the reason why he passed the preliminary exam for this job. Then he was suddenly taken to a room and Raven explained more clearly on what he would do in this job. First, he needed to accept more tenants like Lily and Vivian, and those creatures were also called the outcasts. Second, he would support Raven in preventing any group who would attempt to reverse human evolution through artificial way. She added that it was also his job to keep his tenants out of trouble. The Ren asked what would happen if he refused all of this. According to Raven, his memory of the past 2 days would be deleted, then Lily and Vivian would have to leave his house. They went back to Raven's office again, and Ren made clarification that he should not do anything bad in this job. Raven promised to him that this would not happen because they were not evil and they wanted peace in the world. They also discussed about his salary and showed him the contract. After he signed it, he was sent back to his house. He showed the contract to Lily and Vivian and told them everything about what happened. Both of them did not know Raven, but because Rin was assigned to treat them well, Vivian thought that Raven was not on the side of the demon hunters. And they also discussed about these demon hunters in their conversation. Vivian said that these people were hybrid monsters with half-human bloods. They were the enemies of the outcasts like them, and in a long battle, none of them was able to destroy each other. But through a religious organization, they had already come into contact with people and became a threat to them. Vivian added that if the demon hunters find them, they had to leave the house so Rin would be safe from their enemies. While Rin was resting, he dreamed that he was in another place. He immediately thought that it was just a dream, so he slapped himself, but he was only hurt as if he was in real world. He started walking, but he came across some wolves that chased after him. He fell to his knees and a wolf attacked him, and this was the moment that he woke up with Lily's help. When he touched his hair, he got a wolf fur. After observing this, Vivian said that she could not even feel dark magic from it. He also let Lily smell it, and according to her, she was not familiar with its smell. Vivian had ring shoes from 2 silver armlets which she got in an Egyptian village hundreds of years ago. She was worried and was sure that what Rin had experienced in his dream was not ordinary. And the armlets had the ability to destroy evil forces once he wore one of those. She also tried to use her blood magic on him, but to her surprise, it did not work. She used another technique, but it only worked on Lily, who immediately fell asleep, and it had no effect on Rin either. Suddenly, Raven called him and told him to come to her office the next day. When he arrived at Raven's office, he was surprised that the elemental servant did not appear. Suddenly, Raven came, who was wearing her gardener's outfit. Rin also noticed the big sword which she was carrying, and according to Raven, it was her warship chopping blade. When they entered her office, Raven handed over a data terminal. She told him that he could use it if his life was in danger while he's on a mission. Upon hearing this, Rin immediately realized that he could die in this job. But Raven assured to him that as long as he had some work left to do, they could always find a new body for his soul. Because of this, he seemed like an immortal while he was doing this job. After that, Raven took him to the Enhancement Center. They had to conduct his enhancement test as a new examiner. It was a body adjustment that would give him a special ability. Raven brought out something that shaped like a coffin and asked Ren to enter it. Because of Ren's fear, he hesitated to enter the machine, so Raven just kicked him to get in there. Then Raven started the enhancement test, and when it suddenly disappeared, Raven was worried and wondered if she had pressed the right button. When Ren woke up, he went back to the place that he dreamed about the other day. While he was walking, the data terminal activated and informed him that Raven had pressed another button. And because of this, his enhancement test was special. Ren was surprised that this thing was talking. And since he felt very cold, he begged the device if it could give something to wear against the cold. But according to the data terminal, he was not Doraemon, and he could only answer questions since he had no magic. They continued walking and he asked the terminal about the current location. It answered that they were in the dream dimension or a parallel space of the real world. It added that if Ren died there, this would also happen to him in real life. Ren suddenly heard something, and after a while, the wolves that attacked him when he first came there appeared to him again. The data terminal quickly hid in his pocket, and the wolves came toward him. When one of them attacked, so he countered it, but two other wolves rushed and bit him. Fortunately, something activated and it was a shield that protected him from the fangs of the wolves. That's why he was not hurt. This was the rigid shell which he got from the enhancement chamber. Suddenly, the wolves made a howling sound and their leader heard it. Ren ran fast, but the leader of the wolves still caught up with him. It immediately bit him, but his shield protected him once again, and this damaged the wolf's fangs. The wolf spoke and asked him about his purpose in coming to the area. Ren said that he was just a traveler, but the wolf soon found out that he was lying based on his smell. Then he learned from this wolf that there were also people living in this place. Apart from the big wolves, the hungry little wolves also came there. Ren made a deal to the leader of the wolves that if he was taken to the place where people live, he would find a dentist to fix his fangs. It agreed to his offer and immediately took him to the village where there were people's huts. When they arrived, Ren entered a hut and saw a steel plate with something engraved on it, and it was familiar to him. Suddenly, the whole area lit up, and after a few moments, the gust of wind got stronger. He immediately took the steel plate that he found and was able to return to the real world. Then Ren mentioned to her about the rigid shield that he got, and other than that, he did not notice anything unusual. Then Raven told him that he still had other skills because she added them, and these included reaction speed, strength, recovery speed, and many others. Ren asked about the dream dimension, so she gave more information about this parallel world. She mentioned that a normal person could not go there without using a special technique. Because of this, Ren mentioned that he had been there before while he was sleeping. He also showed the wolf fur that he got when he first came there, and gave it to Raven. He remembered the steel plate which he took from the hut, but he could not find it. Before he left the mansion, Raven told him about the new tenant whom he had to pick up in Europe. The plane tickets were also ready, and he found out that Lily and Vivian would go to this country with him. The day came when they took a flight to go to England, and while they were on the plane, they talked about Yorkford. According to the information provided by Raven, they would find the new tenant in this place. When they landed, they went to the hotel where they would stay. Ren looked at the map on the data terminal and noticed that something was wrong with it. He tried to talk to the data terminal, but suddenly, the image of Raven appeared on it. Ren said that he could not understand the language written on the map. It was only here that Raven remembered that the data terminal system had not been updated. Because of this, Raven immediately updated the data terminal system. While they were eating, Vivian ordered her pet to look around first, and it discovered something which was reported to her right away. So she told Ren that they should go back to their room because it was dangerous if they stay there. Then a man who introduced himself as Samba approached their table and said that he wanted to talk to them. He told them that he knew the location of the Yorkford that they were looking for. He added that this place was a wasteland, so Ren thought that the new tenant might be there because he was also an outcast. Samba warned them that they might see the ghosts in Yorkford Castle if they decided to go there. When they got back to their room, Vivian told Ren that she could sense a demon hunter in the hotel. There were demon hunter's incantations spread throughout the area which were discovered by her pet. And she had a hunch that Samba might be this demon hunter. Suddenly, they heard a man's voice. And when they peeked at the other balcony, they saw Samba, who immediately admitted that he was a demon hunter. Vivian laughed at this because she could not believe that a demon hunter would confess to people whom he did not know. So she thought that he was just pretending, and when she was about to enter their room, Samba quickly transported to approached her. But he was out of balance, causing him to fall. Luckily, Ren quickly got a hold of his leg. In order for Vivian not to doubt him, Samba showed to them the same paper that her pet saw. To pay his gratitude for Ren in saving him, he offered that he would take them in Yorkford the next day. Vivian agreed to this because she was thinking that Samba might have a plan on the new tenant. So it would be better to have him come with them so they could watch its actions. While they were on the train and were heading to Yorkford, they saw on the news an interview with a man who introduced himself as Angus, claiming that he saw a ghost in Yorkford Castle. They also learned that there was a reward from the UK government to anyone who could fix the problem in the castle. Because of this, Vivian was more interested in solving the problem about the ghost that appeared there. Suddenly, there were 3 weird-looking tourists who entered and were also passengers on the train. Vivian thought that they might also have a plan to get the reward. When they arrived at the place, they immediately went to where they would stay, and they learned that Angus was also the owner of the inn. When Vivian and Lily went to their room, Samba asked Angus about Yorkford Castle. So Angus told them what he knew and about everything that happened in the castle. After their conversation, Rin went to Vivian to tell her what they found out from Angus. But she did not believe these stories and said that she already investigated the castle through her pet. Based on the information that they found out, they suspected that the new tenant whom they were looking for had something to do with the rumored ghost. And when Rin returned to their room, Samba almost dropped the picture frame which he was holding. Rin managed to catch it and see the picture of a woman whom Samba referred to as his sister. Rin asked him why he was not with his sister because she seemed to be a strong demon hunter. Samba answered saying that his sister was not a demon hunter, and the reason why he became a demon hunter was to protect her. But right now, he did not know where she was. After midnight, the 3 who were with him on the train decided to go to the castle together with Angus. It turned out that Samba was already watching them, and while Rin was sound asleep, Vivian entered its room. She woke him up to let him know that Samba had left. Vivian also found out about the departure of the 3 tourists who were with them. She wanted to go to the castle because she was worried that the new tenant that they were looking for might be harmed. So they went to Lily, who was still dreaming that she was enjoying her meal. Meanwhile, Angus and his companions did not know that Samba was on the top of the car. But one of the pet snakes of Angus's passengers came out, and Samba was shocked and was attacked by it. Rin and the girls were on their way to the castle, then something activated and Rin was able to use his new ability. Through his sharp eyes, he found out that Lily had fallen asleep again. So when they went down to check on her, Lily accidentally leaned on a rock that suddenly collapsed. Vivian said that this was the shortcut to the castle. They entered it, and after a few minutes of walking, they reached the location. Aside from Angus and the other exorcists, Samba was also there, who started to act as demon hunter. While Ren and the girls were walking around the castle, they suddenly heard something and saw a light ahead. When they saw Samba wearing his uniform as a demon hunter, Vivian thought that it would be better if they avoided him. They arrived at the church where the sound was coming, but after a while, they noticed that another group was approaching, so they quickly hid. To make this group leave the place, Vivian thought of scaring them. The plan worked and scared the group of exorcists, who immediately left there. That was the moment that Lily removed the large rock which was blocking the church door. When they saw something engraved on the stone that they could not understand, Ring used the data terminal to translate it. Then Vivian instructed Lily to do what was indicated there. Because of this, they saw the secret tunnel below, and the data terminal confirmed that the new tenant was in there. When Samba saw a big rock, he used his incantation paper to make it float. He found a hole underneath it, but the incantation paper which he put on the stone had been removed, so before the big rock could crush him, he was forced to enter the hole. While they were looking for the new tenant, they saw Angus, who was still there. To find out its true purpose in coming to the castle, Vivian thought of using her magic to make them look like ghosts. When Angus saw them, he was scared to death, so when they questioned him, they found out that the ghost stories were just made up, so that more tourists would come to the area and his business would benefit from it. Since Vivian's magic would soon disappear, they immediately ordered Angus to leave there to prevent him from seeing them. Lily saw the engraved words on the wall, which according to Vivian were letter runes or magic letters used to suppress evil. She added that the demon hunters were the ones who usually do this. Vivian was able to translate it, and she found out that there was a demon sealed in this place. When she touched the wall, the letter runes responded to her magical power. Suddenly, multiple arrows were shot unto them, but they were saved when Rin was able to create a shield to protect them. Because of this, they decided to leave that area immediately. When they were far away, they saw a big rock rolling toward them. They quickly stand aside, and when the rock got past them, Lily chased after it, thinking that it was a toy, so Ren and Vivian also ran after her. When Lily fell into the trap, Vivian quickly saved her. Meanwhile, Samba reached the area where Ren and the girls came from, and when he also touched the letter runes, he was shot with a lot of arrows too. When Vivian and Lily reached the floor, Ren fell to the trap too. After that, the girls noticed the glowing gold coins in front of them. When they were about to touch these treasures, Ren immediately stopped them. That was the moment when the treasures gradually disappeared, and they found out that it was just a trap. Ren told them not to be fooled because there were no treasures, but only traps. They continued their search for the new tenant, but they noticed that both walls were moving toward them. Lily was about to try to stop it, but she suddenly weakened and so did Vivian. When Ren tried to stop the wall, they were surprised that it stopped moving. The girls' strength also returned, so they decided to leave before the walls moved again. After Samba survived the arrows, he also experienced other traps which Ren and the girls also experienced. On the other hand, while Ren, Lily and Vivian were resting, the ghost knights appeared and chased after them. Lily attacked and defeated one of the ghost knights, and she also destroyed the wall in front of them. Then Vivian made a way to block the other ghost knights. Lily noticed that there were writings on the sword that she snatched from the enemy. When Vivian read it, they also found out about the magic stone. She had a hunch that this magic stone had the ability to summon demons. And the ghost knights acted as the guards to prevent the seal from being removed from the magic stone. Because this magic stone was disturbing, Ren thought that they should stay away from it, but when he looked up, he noticed something. It turned out to be the magic stone which was surrounded by chains. As Samba continued to walk, he felt a strong magical power from the hole. But since he had nowhere else to go, he found another way. Suddenly they felt a tremor which caused a chain to be removed from the magic stone, and something suddenly exploded from above. They heard Samba's laugh. At the same time, there were many ghost knights that came out and surrounded them. When Vivian was getting ready for a fight, someone suddenly attacked the ghost knights, and it was Samba. He told them that he would take care of the enemies and showed his flying skill. But Samba forgot that he could not fly, so he ended up on the floor. When the ghost knights started to approach them, Samba threw a magical powder at them. As soon as they stopped moving, Samba attacked the enemies one by one. Meanwhile, Ren and the girls did not realize that they were already surrounded by the ghost knights. But Vivian was not worried about them because she knew that her power could defeat the enemies. Then she asked Ren and Lily for time so she could prepare for her technique. Because of this, Ren and Lily were the ones fighting against the ghost knights who attacked them. As Samba continued to attack, he suddenly ran out of ammunition. Because of this, he could not do anything but beg the ghost knights who were approaching him to spare his life. When Vivian completed her technique, she immediately used it on the ghost knights. But they were surprised because her power was just absorbed by the magic stone. It emitted a red light into the sky, and after a while, meteors fell from the sky and landed around the castle. Then they saw a huge demon. When it came down, Ren's shield was deactivated, and the demon picked him up with Samba. After it left, Vivian and Lily immediately followed the demon. When they were far away, the demon immediately released Ren and Samba. Vivian released a strong power and they saw a red moon at the same time. But they were surprised when the demon suddenly mentioned the word landlord. Then he asked Ren if he was his landlord. When the data terminal said that their mission had been completed, they found out that the demon was the new tenant that they were looking for. He introduced himself as Yazax, and while he was playing with Samba, who was the one that woke him up, he accidentally let him go and Samba was thrown away. When Ren remembered the ghost knights in the castle, he was worried about it. So when Yazax heard this, he immediately shot a meteor at the castle. After a while, they heard the voices of the people approaching their area, and they were worried that they might be seen. Yazax was about to throw a meteor at these people as well, but Ren immediately stopped him. Since Yazax was able to transform into a human form, Ren asked him to do it. When they got back to Japan, they found out that Yazax was also from space, and Ren's mission was to open a portal through the magic stone. Raven informed them that Yazax's spaceship made a mistake in landing in England, so he had to wait for Ren. As they returned home, he went to his old warehouse which Vivian had cleaned and turned it into a bedroom. Vivian remembered that she saw something while she was cleaning, and she handed it back to Ren. When Ren saw it, he remembered that it was one of his favorite things when he was young. When Vivian asked about what was written on it, Ren suddenly remembered that it was the same as what he saw in the dream dimension. He took the steel plate that he got in the dream dimension that was lost, but he found it again while he was doing the laundry. Vivian wondered that Ren might have been in the dream dimension when he was young. One day, Ren was summoned by Raven to her office, and while he was on his way, he saw a woman singing. While he was watching and listening to her, the woman noticed and waved at him, so Ren waved back. When he arrived at Raven's office, she seemed not in a good mood. This was because the new tenant was supposed to be directed to Earth, but it unexpectedly landed on a planet that was 895 light-years away from them. So Raven gave him a mission to go to this planet and get the new tenant. Ren was about to complain, but Raven just scolded him and he could not do anything but obey her orders. Raven showed the Kuiper space station, and with the upgraded terminal, Ren could go there using the space teleport function. He would take a spacecraft and use it to go to the planet that she was referring to. Since the planet was surrounded by the ocean, Raven also invited a sea expert who would come with him in this mission. The woman he saw singing earlier entered the room, and she was the sea expert that Raven was talking about. Ren was surprised when he found out that she would also become his tenant. When they got home, this woman introduced herself as Yui. She informed them that her mother was a mermaid, but he grew up on Earth. Because Yazax knew a lot about outer space better, Ren chose him as his second assistant. The next morning, the data terminal brought them to the Kuiper space station. They were met by a female alien who guided them in the area. She took them to the spacecraft which they would use to travel, and when they saw it, the data terminal asked them to board the spacecraft. Ren mentioned that it was too big, so the data terminal informed them that they would also move to a smaller aircraft once they were already close to their destination. Once they complete the mission, Raven would also send a new spacecraft to take them back. The spacecraft had a captain who informed them that he was the one to operate it. After a few moments the spacecraft was activated and was ready for their departure. When they were on the flight, they entertained themselves with a card game. After a few hours, the data terminal told them to prepare for the transfer to the smaller aircraft. But at that moment, they caught up with the competitor of their spacecraft, and since the captain did not want to lose on the race, he forgot to move them to their next airship. Because of this, the data terminal forced Ren to move to the smaller aircraft. They immediately went to the location of the small aircraft, and the data terminal said that he would be the one to control it. But their problem was the exit of the big aircraft which was still closed and the control for its opening was not covered by the data terminal. So Yazax volunteered to be the one who would open it, and using his power as a demon, he successfully opened the exit door. After that, they were able to get out from the big spacecraft, and when they entered on the planet, they fell into the sea. After they got out of the aircraft, Yui transformed into a mermaid and immediately saved Ren from drowning. When Ren woke up, he realized that he was inside the hut in the dream dimension. According to the data terminal, he went to the dream dimension again due to his spirit instability from the drowning. But his real body was saved by Yui, and they also know his condition. Suddenly, they heard something, and when he came out, he saw the red wolves who wanted to attack the blue wolves. When they attacked, Ren quickly came to stop it with his shield. Because of this, the red wolves immediately retreated. The leader of the wolves asked about the dentist that he promised, and since he did not send one, he just promised to bring the dentist next time. Because he helped them, the leader of wolves still trusted him. Then he asked about the thing which he got the last time when he came there. The wolf recognized the writing as the lost ancient language which was used in a ritual. Ren wanted to ask more questions, but the terminal told him that he had no more time. Because of this, he woke up in his real body. The terminal showed them the map where they could see the parts of the aircraft that the new tenant had boarded. But it detected two, and one was in the ocean. While the girls were eating, Lily noticed that all the food that Vivian cooked had garlic in it. Because of this, Lily was worried that she might become weak because her sense of smell was sensitive to this. But after a few moments, Lily's worries came true, and she suddenly became weak and lost her consciousness. A few seconds later, she suddenly woke up and immediately pushed Vivian away from her. When she was about to leave the house, Vivian stopped her and could not understand why Lily was acting like this. On the other hand, Ren and the others went to the one located on the ground first, and after a few hours of walking, they reached the area. Yazax started to tear the parts of the spacecraft, but when he finished, they still did not find the tenant there. The data terminal noticed that it was not the cargo cabin, and based on its analysis, there was a high possibility that the tenant was in the cargo cabin. Because of this, they went to the other half of the aircraft, which was in the ocean. Yui immediately jumped to the water and transformed into its mermaid form. Since she could carry a person with her in the water, she asked Rin to come with her. Without a warning, Yazax picked Rin up and threw him into the sea. When Rin was brought into the depths of the sea, he had trouble holding his breath. But when he opened his mouth, he found out that he could breathe in the water. This was one of Yui's abilities as a mermaid, that she was able to control the water around them. Aside from being able to breathe, he became immune to the strong pressure. They were about to continue diving down the sea, when a giant fish suddenly appeared. It was about to attack them, so Yui quickly transformed into a giant octopus and caused the giant fish to be afraid that it quickly swam away from them. Besides octopus, Yui could also transform into other sea creatures such as mantis shrimp. She asked Rin to get on the back in order to speed up their descent. When they got to the bottom of the sea, they saw the cargo cabin. Yui transformed into a sea snake and did something around the cargo cabin so Rin could move around it comfortably. When they opened it, they still did not see the new tenant there, so Rin decided to call Raven to ask her. But Yui noticed something, and when she opened it, she saw things which were for the baby and a big egg. When Rin talked to Raven, he showed to her the content of the cargo cabin, and when Raven saw the egg that Yui was holding, she told them that it was the tenant that they were looking for. After they talked to Raven, they brought the egg to the seashore, and they waited for the spacecraft to take them back to Earth. A few moments later, a spacecraft arrived, and Raven was also on board. When they entered it, Raven told Rin that this spacecraft was already his. Then they talked about the egg, which according to Raven was the egg of a mermaid from another world. Because of the apocalypse that happened in its world and exterminated the species living there, the egg was the only one left alive. After the mission, they got back to the house, and they were surprised by all the mess around the room. They saw Vivian, who was pulling Lily, who was already tied because she had not yet returned to its normal behavior. When Vivian was about to explain, Lily was able to break free from being bound and attacked Rin. But she was blocked by the shield. Then she noticed the egg that Yui was holding, which she thought was a food. She was about to attack again. Luckily, Yazax stopped her. While Yazax was holding her tightly, Vivian told them all the things that happened while they were on the mission. Rin thought to take Lily to Raven because she might be able to help them. But the data terminal said that it would be difficult for him to teleport Lily because she was not stable yet. Fortunately, Yazax had another way to do this, and Vivian remembered what she had heard before about demons who were good at teleport magic. Through this, they arrived at Raven's office and saw her having her lunch. They did not realize that Lily had gotten away from Yazax and was currently biting Raven's leg. Raven held her head to examine Lily by staring at her. When Lily calmed down, Raven asked her what she was seeing in her eyes. Lily answered that she could see the red moon, and on this moon there were people that melt in the ocean. Then she mentioned that she wanted to get stronger and was about to attack, but Raven just flicked Lily's forehead and this put her to sleep. When Lily got back to normal, Raven said that she could see the signs of Lily's evolution. This meant that she would soon acquire a new ability of their race. Then Raven told Rin to use the Enhancement Center to stabilize Lily. After doing the process, Lily returned to her normal behavior. She said that she could not remember much of what happened, but she was sure that she did something wrong. Rin sent the others to the house first, then he went to Raven's office to let her know that Lily was fine. But Raven told him to look after Lily because this might happen again to her by the time of the full moon. They looked at the calendar and saw that the next full moon would occur the next day. Since Raven had a lot to do on that day, she left everything to Rin and ordered him to take care of Lily. When Rin returned to his world, he went shopping for things that they needed on a night camping. He came across a man on the road, and the man looked at him. When he got home, he found Vivian cooking something smelly. She told him that it would help for spirit stabilization. But Rin was worried about its effect because with just a small drop, it could melt even the concrete floor. During the night of the full moon, they set up their camp on the mountain. A few hours had passed, but Lily had not yet transformed and they were all sleepy. until they all fell asleep while Lily continued to eat spicy sticks. When Lily came out, she stared at the moon. Rin suddenly woke up, so he came out immediately to check on Lily. The others were also outside and saw the new transformation of Lily. Just in case Lily attacked them, Yazax had prepared a defense spell in order to make them safe. After a few moments, they were surprised when Lily's whole appearance changed into a giant creature. The data terminal informed them that it was a Siberian husky. Rin tried to approach her, and when he was close, she just licked him after recognizing him. When Lily howled, the two men heard it, and they talked about their plans on her. Vivian called Lily and fed her with the sleeping pill that she created. Instead of putting her to sleep, Lily felt something strange. She ran away from them and headed towards the town. They immediately chased after her to avoid her from causing trouble. Rin told Yazax to use his strength and try to stop Lily, then he asked Vivian to put him on Lily's back. When Yazax tried to stop Lily, he was not able to defend himself from Lily's attack. Because of this, Vivian used her power to imprison Lily. This was the moment when Rin got on Lily and tried to calm her down. Suddenly, they heard someone singing, and it turned out to be Yui. Vivian remembered that the mermaid's song had a special power, and because of this, Lily calmed down. When Lily fell asleep, she transformed to her wolf form, and after a while, into her human form. Since Vivian and the others still needed to keep their things, Rin went home first while carrying Lily. He did not know that the two men were already on the roof of his house. When he was able to get Lily inside, he was attacked by one of these men and immediately lost his consciousness. Lily dreamed that she was floating in space. When she noticed the glove that she was wearing, a metal claw came out of it and it was cold. The same thing happened on her other hand but was warm. She felt sleepy, so she fell asleep again. When she woke up, she was in a room which was not familiar to her, so she thought that Rin's house might be under renovation. She was about to come out, but she was electrocuted and found out that the room has a barrier. Then the two men who abducted her appeared. They told her that they were her allies, and it was the blood sect or Vivian who was the one that bewitched her. But she did not immediately believe them, so these men decided to lock her up for a while. She tried to force her way out of there, but the man put her back to sleep. They did not know that Vivian's pet was also inside the room, and it was about to go out when the men noticed it and tried to catch it. On the other hand, Vivian found Rin unconscious in the house, so they woke him up. When they asked where Lily was, it was the moment when Rin remembered what happened and told them everything about it. They immediately thought that these men had abducted Lily, but they had no idea who were these people and where they possibly taken her. This was when Vivian's pet came in, which was used to be one of Lily's covers. Rin scanned it using the data terminal to get information, and from what was discovered, they could tell that Lily was in a steel plant. Rin knew a nearby industrial estate, and he had a hunch that Lily might be brought there. To speed up their search, they decided to split up and find Lily. Meanwhile, one of Lily's abductors equipped the steel plant with a barrier so that no one could easily enter. Vivian sent her pets to investigate the area, but one of them was affected by this barrier. When they approached the bat, they also noticed the black smoke that surrounded the building. Yui and Yazax went to another building, but when they were about to enter it, Yazax accidentally broke the door. Because of this, the people inside the room did not let them leave the building yet. Vivian tried to throw a stone on the building, and they saw what this smoke could do to something that touched it. But since it was another type of magic, she thought that it might not be able to affect Rin. From what she saw in their previous missions, she knew that he had the ability to nullify any magic. When Vivian was about to take Rin upstairs to enter the building, they were seen by one of Lily's abductors, named Yuan. He faced and immediately attacked them. Fortunately, Vivian immediately blocked his attack. Yuan transformed into a werewolf and repeatedly attacked Vivian and Rin. As Yazax was forced to play with those whom they disturbed, Vivian continued to fight against Yuan. Vivian managed to injure him, then he asked her if she was the Countess of the Crimson Moon. When Rin reached the part of the building with dark smoke, he confirmed that Vivian's suspicion was correct, that he would not be affected by its magic. He hurriedly entered the building, but he was immediately attacked by another werewolf. Even though it repeatedly attacked Rin, his shield only blocked it. Because he was just running away from the enemy, his data terminal came out and told him to fight. It taught him what to do, until the enemy attacked him again. He was able to avoid it, but he jumped so high that he forgot about the physical enhancement, and this caused him to go straight to the top. When he saw the fire sprinkler, he thought of a way to divert the attention of his opponent. He opened it all and went to Lily's location. They were about to leave the place through the stairs, but were blocked by the enemy. After a few moments, Vivian came there with Yuan, whom she had already beaten. When Yuan's brother found out that Vivian was the Countess of the Crimson Moon, he immediately thought that she was spying on Lily and she forced her to go with them. Because of this, Rin begged them to listen to his explanation. The two calmed down and listened to Rin as he explained that their suspicion about Vivian and their group was wrong. But the two also mentioned the prophecy that was about to happen. He was referring to the moment when all of the outcasts would regain their strength. But their talk was interrupted when the demon hunters suddenly came there. Rin tried to talk to them and asked the demon hunters not to attack, but they did not listen to him. And when they attacked, he immediately created a shield. After the opponents stopped shooting, Rin and the others quickly ran, but the enemies continued to attack them using their weapons. While he was protecting his companions, Vivian also acted so that she could distract the other demon hunters. Lily also started to fight back, and to disperse the demon hunters, she left the building. Rin made the brothers close their eyes and used the terminal to blind the remaining demon hunters so they could get out of the building. But the opponents were able to teleport and the demon hunters caught them right away. Rin faced the female demon hunter, while the leader and another demon hunter were against the werewolf brothers. When the girl attacked Rin, his shield was automatically activated. The woman wondered what kind of creature Rin was. Even though Rin said that he was just a human, the woman did not believe him because there was no human that had the same strength and speed like what he possessed. The woman thought that Rin might be from a new species, so she wanted to take Rin so they could study him. As Rin rushed at her, the woman did not stop attacking him either. Until he got a chance to punch her in one of his attacks. When he heard the sound of the werewolf, he quickly went to it. Yuan's older brother was hit by a bullet, so Yuan immediately rushed to attack the enemy. He managed to stop a demon hunter, but he was attacked by the enemy's leader. Rin suddenly came there, and after a while, Lily also arrived. When Lily saw Yuan's condition, she started using her new ability. The demon hunter's leader tried to attack her, but she only blocked him. Lily created a tornado of ice and fire and threw it at the enemies. The demon hunters used a shield to protect themselves, and when the tornado disappeared, they found out that Ren's group had escaped. When they reached the forest, Vivian also came. After a while, Yui and Yazax arrived to their location. Using Yui's cure magic, she tried to heal Yuan. After a few minutes, she successfully healed him. But suddenly they were attacked by a demon hunter, and while he was trying to attack them, Yazax immediately stopped him. It turned out the demon hunter's leader was also there and he tried to attack Yazax, but his dagger just melted before it reached him. He attacked again with more daggers, but the same thing happened. Yazax tried to just talk to him, but the demon hunter refused. So Yazax dropped a meteor towards them, and in his fear, the enemy ran quickly, but because of Yazax's magic, he was able to bring him back. Then he flicked its head, causing the demon hunter to immediately lost his consciousness. While the brothers decided to leave to give a report to their clan about what happened that day. When Ren's group was about to leave with the two demon hunters, the female demon hunter suddenly came there and threatened Yui. After a while, they heard a voice from a person who also introduced himself as a demon hunter. It turned out to be Samba, and he was the one who negotiated on both sides to prevent the fight. So Ren's group released the two demon hunters in exchange for Yui. The female demon hunter left immediately with her companions. But after a while, they heard them shouting in the forest, and it was done by the data terminal because he had already reported it to Raven, and it did not let them escape anymore. When Yui had a fight with Samba, it was only here that they found out that the two were siblings. When they got home, they got more information about Yui and Samba. Samba told them that their father was a demon hunter, and this motivated him to become like him. But both of their parents suddenly disappeared, so Yui tried to travel and ventured to find them. After they told their stories, Vivian and Lily teased each other and got into another fight. Suddenly, someone rang the doorbell at the house, and it was Samba who opened it. It turned out to be Yuan and his brother, and they were shocked that there was a demon hunter there. Rin tried to stop them but they both attacked again, so Yazax got in control. When they entered the house, it was the moment that Rin clarified the situation. Vivian asked the brothers about their purpose for coming. When they answered, they said that they wanted to recruit them all to join their clan. But Vivian rejected them immediately, so these men took out gold because they knew that this was Vivian's weakness. Suddenly, the whole house lost its source of light, and when Yui looked at the kitchen, there was no water either. Then Rin realized that they had not yet paid the bills. Since none of his tenants had any money, Rin went into his room to be alone. The next day, when he woke up, Vivian and the others were no longer there. He still did not have water supply, so he begged the data terminal to teleport him to Raven's office. While Lily and the others found ways to help Rin pay the bills. When Rin arrived at Raven's office, he convinced her to lend him money. They had also discussed about the demon hunters that they captured as well as the prophecy. Because of the steel plate that Rin got from the dream dimension, he remembered that there might be a prophecy engraved on it. He asked her if there was a connection between the outcasts and the dream dimension. It was only here that he found out that most of the outcasts on Earth were from the dream dimension. Then he got back to his house, and he was surprised that his house had already its source of electricity. When he entered, all of his tenants were there waiting for him. Since all of them looked for a way to earn money, they were able to pay the bills. Apart from this, they had also prepared a little food to share. This is the end of the last episode of the Journal of the Mysterious Creatures. I hope you like it and give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss newly uploaded videos. Thank you for watching.